In this video, we're going to take a look at table borders in Word 2019. So here we've got a table that is pretty much unformatted, and we're going to do some formatting of the borders. If we select the entire table, we get the borders button here that gives you all the border options. These are exactly the same ones that are up here. If you click on the down arrow, it's exactly the same thing. Let's take a look at the defaults here. We've got an option for a bottom border, and this applies just to your selection. So if I have the entire table selected and I choose bottom border, it's just going to go on the bottom of what I have selected, not on the bottom of each cell. If I do a top border, it's going to go on the top of what I have selected. If I do a left border, I'm just going to get one on the left. Right border will be one on the right. If I do no border, and I'm not clicking on any of these, I'm just pausing the mouse and it's doing a live preview for me. Now that still looks like a border. I'm going to actually select that by clicking on it. And what you see is a bunch of dotted lines there. So it looks like you still have borders. But if we go and do a file and print, there are no borders. So those dotted lines there are just there to help you figure out where the borders of your cells are. But when you go to print it, they will not appear. So let's go back to our table. Let's select the entire table. And let's go to borders up here, and the last one we did was no border. Let's do all borders, and the default I have selected right now is a blue line that's slightly thicker than the default, so that's why we're going to see blue thicker lines here. If I just choose outside border, that is for the entire selection. Inside border will give me all the inside lines for the entire selection, but nothing on the outside, and these two combined are basically the same as all borders. We can also just do inside horizontal lines, which will give us a horizontal line every place except the top and bottom. And we can do inside vertical borders, which will give us vertical lines every place except the far left and the far right. And we can even do diagonals if we want to cross things out. But where you get most of your options are down here on the borders and shading selection. And if you get the borders and shading dialog box to come up here, we've got a couple of choices on the left. None is the default, so there are. We get a little preview over here. You really need to pay attention to this preview box. If we click on box, we get a border all the way around. If we click on all, we get both inside, outside borders. If we click on grid, we get just about the same thing, except the interior lines are a little bit thinner. So I'm going to go back to none here. And we've got a number of things that we can select here. We've got a bunch of different styles. So you can get some double and triple lines and some kind of unusual lines there. I'm just going to leave it on a solid line. That's probably what you want most of the time anyway. We've got colors. We've got the standard colors and we've got the theme colors. Make sure you select your theme before you select these. We're going to go with a blue for our color. And we're going to make it a little bit fatter. We're going to go to 2 1/4 points. And you can see how thick that line is. But you got to keep your eye on the preview over here. Nothing has happened on the preview. So if I just click on OK right now, nothing's going to happen to my table. So what I need to do is I need to make my preview look the way I want my table to look. So if all I want are exterior lines, then I can go up here and click on the top line, click on the bottom line, click on the left line. Don't click on the middle of a line though, because if you do, you may get a horizontal line coming across here. So I don't want that one. I'm going to click on it again. So it's a little bit touchy here sometimes when you're clicking in the middle. So let me do this, and now let me click on OK. And now what I see is a border all the way around the outside, but nothing on the inside. So let's go back to our borders button. Let's choose borders and shading. We'll get our same dialog box up there again. And let's do some interior borders. So I'm going to change the color so we can definitely tell we've got something different on the interior. I'm going to make it red, and I'm going to make it 1 1/2 points instead of 2 1/4 points. Now I still need to select the horizontal line here and the vertical line here. And there's two ways to do it. I can just go up to approximately the middle here and click, and I can go approximately to the middle here and click. I'm going to click again. Oh, see, I clicked too high. Yeah, and it's kind of messing things up. You got to stay close to the middle here when you're doing this. So I want a horizontal line. So if you don't want to worry about accidentally clicking too close to another border, the smart thing to do is select it in here. So this is my line going across. This is my line going up and down. And this button right here is for the outside edge, and I want that to be blue again. So I'm going to go back to blue, and that was the next thickest one. That was 2.5 points, 2.25 points. And let's click here, and let's click here. Okay, so now we should get blue around the outside of the entire table with thinner red lines in the middle. And let's click on OK, and there's our table.